Greetings, my fellow miscreants, and welcome to the next episode of Fiddler's Green. Tonight is my first battle breakdown. We're going to be talking about Fury, movie set in World War II following the crew of an M4 Sherman, the Fury, as they make their way through Germany towards the end of the war. There are actually 4 set-piece battles. We'll be focusing on 2 of them. First is a relief column from an ambushed infantry squad. The second is the famous Tiger 131 ambush scene. Next episode we'll cover the other 2 set-piece battles, including the controversial final battle. Sit back, relax, enjoy. Fury and her platoon are tasked with relieving an armored infantry column that has been ambushed by a German infantry unit armed with 75mm anti-tank guns. The platoon moves up in a column formation with infantry on its back. This is where we catch this scene. The infantry are disengaging. Now, boil it down, they're a little close in their column, but they probably did that for cinematic reasons. Everyone's buttoning up, adjusting their periscopes. Tanks are doing a neutral steer to the right, moving into a line abreast formation to assault the suspected German position. Brad Pitt, War Daddy, scans the terrain. Each one of the tank commanders at this point is looking for possible choke points, hidden observation points, and where those camouflaged guns are. The 50 caliber machine gun on the Sherman wasn't necessarily it was designed for anti-aircraft purposes. It wasn't designed for much else, which is why it's positioned behind the tank commander's cupola like that. A normal World War II platoon consists of 5 M4 Sherman tanks. This one we see 4 because on the route march to this position, Fury's platoon lost their lieutenant tank. We see here infantry piling up behind the Shermans, using them as cover as the ambushed infantry platoon starts to line up behind everyone else. Fury on the far left, their M4A1 on the far right. You'll notice that almost all of them have those tree branches. Those branches were extra armor and for traction. If the tank should get stuck, they could actually use those to move the tank. Germans open up here with an MG42, hence the green tracers. Germans always used greens, American used red. Fury is a M4 EZ8 Sherman, mounted with a 76mm main gun.
Ceasefire, target destroyed.
Now you can hear the fire commands there. Tank commander will yell fire. Tank gunner on the way to let everyone know that the gun's about to be fired. Loader hits up to let them know that the round is loaded. German Pak 40-75s, high velocity cannon shoot through that armor like butter. At this point, they're all using HE. Find where the suspected positions are, use the machine guns to suppress. Standard tactic, although expecting only 1 gun, probably not the smartest move on their part, but it adds for drama. Normally this is what they would do, is they would look for where the smoke from the cannon blast came off and just dead reckon in machine gun and main gun rounds. Unfortunately, at this time frame, the 76mm on the EZ8, not the best gun, did not have really good high explosive ammunition. Now, the main, the machine guns are just suppressing the Germans, keeping their heads down while they make their move into the position. Now, really, why they've got the Germans have their OP that far into the field? Probably once again for dramatic purposes. They should have been more in the Fury in front when everyone here is obviously tired, kind of false sense of security after the other battles we've seen, sleeping, catching up on personal when out of nowhere round comes, hits right into the flank. Now Fury's platoon reacts exactly as they should. They put the main armor of their vehicles towards where the threat came from. Big issue with this battle, and I've seen a lot of armchair strategists comment on it, is that this is a Tiger tank. This Tiger tank should have engaged Fury, which was number one, the lead vehicle, which in an ambush, the lead vehicle is the one you want to go for. And it's also the biggest threat, having the best gun. But at this stage of the war, 1945, this crew is probably not the most experienced. They're out by themselves. They haven't had contact with higher in a while. They're going to just shoot who they're going to shoot. Now, what we've actually seeing here, putting smoke into his eyes, they're blinding the Tiger so they don't get shot up again. Now, they're in this position here where they have a couple of options. He's blind. They can turn around and disengage, but War Daddy determines that this is not the best option available. They know they have infantry following up on them. That Tiger's still there. When those infantry come up, the infantry are going to get chewed up like there's no tomorrow. So, close with and engage the enemy is his call. Tiger here moves forward out of the smoke. Tiger's going to have advantage in armor and the gun. And you'll see this very shortly. That 88 is evil. Will shoot through these Shermans, even the up-armored Fury, like a knife through butter. They're doing what they can, but the front armor on a Tiger is pretty wicked against those 75s. What they really should be doing is splitting up. Line abreast is not the best option here. It's giving that Tiger too much opportunity to close their range and engage. They should be splitting up into their elements, making it more difficult, utilizing the Sherman's better speed and maneuverability to get around him. You can actually see when the round enters that Sherman, the burn marks that it leaves. You can see how heated the round impacting the front mantlet of that Sherman was. This, of course, is Tiger 131, which is probably the pride of the Bovington Tank Museum, captured in Tunisia in '43, the only working original Tiger tank in the world. Bovington actually allowed the use of 131 for the filming. It is an early model, which when you see the cupola, it has the way the top hatch is. It is an early model Sherman. We would call what just happened there Jack in the Box. Over pressurization as the round is cooking off, pops the turret off the hull. Now, Fury right here is trying to use her speed. She's flanking around, trying to get to the side. The the Tiger realizes what's going on, is trying to back up so that they can keep that armor facing the Sherman. Once again, I call this the inexperience of the Tiger crew. They were probably just out of Tank Academy, really not used to what's going on, not much in the way of combat experience. We just saw them lose hydraulic fluid, which means all the turret needs to be turned manually, and you'll start see Bible doing that here, and he starts cranking on the gears. They are getting into a position to get that 76 going into where the weaker armor is. From the tail, from the sides, knocking the engine out.
Say back up. You back up. Left stick.
All right.
We're about to see they're going to crank hard right.
Auto now. Reverse. Left stick.
Full reverse, thereby kind of setting off the tracking that the Tiger is trying to make on them.
Come on, fucking shoot him!
Steady.
Armor piercing loaded.
Now. For one.
And in the immortal words of Oddball, there's only one weakness on the Tiger tank. It's at point blank range and it's in the ass. And that's what we see here. Engines going up. The crew of the Tiger is going to start, they're going to dismount and evacuate the vehicle. Sturmgewehr 44, obviously captured by somebody, and our assistant gunner finally gets the idea of how best to handle his job. Final scene is we get to see the aftermath. Every one of the Shermans backing up. Now Fury's alone. Lost her entire platoon. War Daddy, who's been fighting the war since 1942.